Hey, yo, what's up? You know what it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And of course, I'd like to welcome you back to your favorite YouTube show. That show we lovingly call around here, Diary of a Game Whore. And how is everybody doing there? How you doing in there? How's your people? How's everything? What's really good? What's really good with me is I don't remember the last time I felt this good. It feels good outside my door. It feels good inside my heart. It feels good inside my head. It feels good. I made that the absolute truth video, and I have never felt better because I have been holding on to something that I shouldn't have for 8 years, and now the internet knows. You know what I'm saying? I made that video because the events that transpired that led to me deciding that it was time to say that, and when I was done and I put it up, I felt good. That led into the purse limit video that there were some people on the internet that didn't disagree because they thought they clicked on the video and got something they weren't expecting. And I will not apologize because this is my channel. I will do what I want, and if you don't like it, there's a door, invisible or visible. Don't let it hit you where Jehovah split you. That's all I'm saying. Because now, because I made that purse limit video and I had so much fun making that video, I want to have more fun. I want to have unstructured fun because for the past 7 years, there are many times where I have just played a game for playing the game. There has always been a reason. There's always been a review that had to be done. Then I had to, explain the game and do this. No. I want to branch out into just playing video games and recording them and sharing my thoughts with them for fun. That's what that burst limit video, that's what making the absolute truth video did for me, is that I just learned from that. I just want to have fun again. And when I really sat down after I made that video and after I made burst limit, and that whole day was good. To answer Chubb's question about what happened with the roast beef, I told him on the internet is my aunt made a bomb ass roast beef spread. That shit is fire. So shout out to Aunt May. She hooked it up. I went over there with Annie Pan, went over there with the A Factor. The A Factor and the Rolling 247, and we ate and we did a family thing, and it felt good. That whole day was good. And I want to hold on to that feeling when it comes to my work. So like I said, when I sat down and I decided that I want to have unfiltered, unmandated fun, I just want to record videos and talk about them and have fun, is that when I sat down and looked down the long list of video games I just wanted to play for fun and structure for no reason other than playing them, there was a big honk of that list that fell into a certain genre. And that was a promise that I made myself years ago. I am not allowed to touch that genre until I talk about one specific game in that genre and tell the world how that video game profoundly changed my life in a very important and special way. And that's what we're here to do today. I am here to review this game so I can play other games like it. That's why we're here. I'm here for a completely selfish reason to do something so it allows me to do more stuff. If you caught any of that. But you might be sitting up here wondering, like, what game could be so important to the one and the only that it profoundly changed his life, that it would hold him back from playing and exploring other games because of a weird promise he made himself years ago? Well, it's this game. 1991, Super Nintendo classic, Super R-Type, brought to you by the wonderful folks at Iron. Before we get into the review portion of the game, there's a couple of things I'd like to say. First of all, just a note. The reason we are looking at the virtual console version of Super R-Type because it's a mental reminder to me to tell you so we can talk about this. In 2012, Irem fell the fuck apart. Because this happened, is that a lot of Irem's titles that were digitally distributed just fell off the face of the earth one day, and they haven't come back yet. It is my hope that because with the new disaster report coming out and hearing that those folks over there making that game are trying to get back all those licenses, that those games come back. That those games come back to these digital storefronts because those games deserve to be there and more people deserve to play them. This fact is going to come in handy in about I'd say anywhere between 6 to 10 minutes, depending on how long I get to talking about Super R-Type and what it means to me and all that and reviewing it. But that point is important. Keep it in mind. Number 2. Happy almost 25th birthday, Super R-Type. You can damn near rent a car in Japan and Europe, but not in America yet. Because if I'm remembering my information correctly, is the game came out first in Europe in June. Then it came out sometime in July in Japan, but it didn't come out in America until September 1st, 1991. The thing about that timeline is I wouldn't touch this game until almost, you want to say because it came out September 1st, 4 months later, the day after Christmas. Because that was the first time I ever played Super R-Type. Day after Christmas. My big cousin Wu got a Super Nintendo for Christmas. Whole bunch of games. Aunt Trishy hooked them up. Yeah, I know. I think Aunt Trish has been on the video and said what's up once. But she bought him the Super Nintendo and all the fixings. And one of the games that he got day one was this bad boy right here. So it's like, I was just, because I went over there after Christmas and spent the weekend over there. He was gone and whatever. I was just me and Trish in the house. I was playing this, F-Zero, and some other games. And I had a ball. Just sitting up here just trying to get through it. I'm a 7-year-old kid trying to get through a shmup. It didn't end as well as, it didn't end well. And it took me a whole lot of syllables to say it didn't end well. Played a whole bunch of F-Zero, which we are going to play one of these days. But because I start spending long weekends with this video game, I developed a special appreciation for this game. But the thing is, as we get to the reason why this video was being made, is that I gotta give props to another video game. The game that actually made me appreciate the genre when I was like 4. You might know that game as Life Force on the Nintendo, or Salamander, depending on what hood you live in. When I was 4, Life Force looked fucking amazing on Nintendo. It's like all the fire and all that stuff, and it's like, it wouldn't be until I got a lot older that I really came into a real appreciation for Life Force and Gradius and Parodius and ZSX and all those Konami shooters. I wouldn't be able to get an appreciation to those till a lot later. And also shout out to Twin B. I love Twin B. I love me some Twin B. We should play that. However, this game, this right here is something special. A lot of my childhood has been invested in trying to beat this game. And I've done it once. One time. And internet, I will admit, I had to use cheats to get it done because it's the only way you can see that you win. And I would later, at some point, beat the game on the highest difficulty for real. But the less we talk about that summer, the better. Because I spent part of my summer when I was 13. Because it was at that point, my big cousin Wu handed me down a lot of his old Super Nintendo stuff, and this game came into my possession. So I spent a lot of time grinding out because there wasn't nothing to do outside. Because that was the first year they didn't allow me. I used to go to summer school just because I just wanted free lunch because I was bored at home. And it wasn't like, Nickelodeon do what it do now where it show more cartoons and less Nick Jr. So it wasn't nothing to do at home. So it's like, fuck it, I go to summer school. You know what I mean? I'll go do that, whatever. Let's go have some fun at summer school, go get a bag lunch and go home. But then, summer school ended weird, and, I don't think this is the time or place to talk about what happened. But, anyway, first summer I didn't go to summer school, didn't have to go to a daycare or anything like that. I stayed at home all day and played Super R-Type. And played a little bit of Mario World, but it was a lot of this. Later summers would be filled with Killer Instinct on Super Nintendo, but I played a lot of this. And one day, I just had the pro run. Because it's like, in order to get to pro mode, you have to beat the game on hard first. And then the game loops like it would in the arcade version. And then you play on pro mode. I beat it for real because of how this game works. And we're going to get into that into the review portion, which is in a couple of seconds. Because of how the game works, that is a feat. That's like up there with like me beating Tyson for the first time, and I beat Pro Mode on Super R-Type before I beat Tyson. So you can kind of sort of like equate like where one would be with the other. But I still think that, you know, I can still knock out Tyson on an occasion. I don't know at 32 years of age that I have the reflexes necessary to play Super R-Type and beat it on Pro Mode. I don't know if I got it in me. I might be able to hook to go beat up Tyson or Mr. Dream or whoever right now. But playing Pro Mode or Super R-Type, I don't know if I have it in me. Don't know. Do not know. Don't want to know. Don't want to ask. However, I have done enough talking. The mystery of what this game and how it profoundly changed my life is something we're about to explore right about now-ish. Everybody, shh. This is my favorite part. Shh. I know. Shh. It is a simple intro. I loved it when I was 7. I fell in love with it when I was 13. And I love it even more at 32. A simple intro where letters come out the sky, drop out, and then that boom, Super R-Type, let you know, game, ready for the business. Ready for the business. And this game is the business, because this game is no joke. Game is no joke. The game is no joke. So, the point of this portion of the review is to say the following. Super R-Type is no joke. And it's no joke because of the context in which we're working in. Because let's just look at the title screen. This is a game that came out in the year 1991. Real early Super Nintendo. Real early Super Nintendo. So that means that this game doesn't take advantage of the hardware that is on. If you want an R-Type game that takes advantage of the hardware it's on, 3 years in the future, a game called R-Type 3: The Third Lightning, one of the best shmups of all time, in my personal opinion, because I love that game to pieces. But Super R-Type, as much as I love this game and want to hold and caress it and never let it go, this game has, I want to say, 1.5 problems. Because one is a problem and one is a coin flip because it can help or harm. The problem with this video game, this game has no checkpoints. 0. If you make it all the way to the boss and you got one hit to kill the boss and you die, you go all the way back to the beginning of the stage. It's like 6-4 and 6-5 and Ninja Gaiden, but worse. That's what it is. And I'm like, and the thing is that usually this would be the point where I would say you could play the Japanese version and it's different. No, the game is the same no matter what, because I don't know if they understood what they were porting to the Super Nintendo, because R-Type and R-Type 2 don't work that way. Even when you were stuffing quarters into the machines, R-Type games don't work like that. They work varying differently depending on the game. Some games revive you right where you die. Some have a checkpoint system. This has none of that. It makes this game hard in a way that makes 0 sense, because even though this game has infinite continues, and I love infinite continues because it what am I trying to say? It brings in one of my favorite pieces of things that, you know, that I love, called the play system. To play, learn, adapt, and evolve. Oh, damn, I forgot to press select. We get to see that one more time at least, because I forgot, if you let it sit at that screen, you have to press select at least to bring up the options. The game doesn't let you know that up front. You don't know to press options to select the different difficulties, and we've talked about that, but I will re-talk about it before we're done. However, this game has infinite continues. Infinite continues. So, it's like, it don't make it any different that if the game had credits, it was trying to treat itself like an arcade game. but there's no checkpoints, so it makes the game harder than it would be normally. And again, this would usually be the point of the video, like I said, where I would blame Blockbuster, I would blame anything else, but the game is the same no matter what territory you play it. So this was done with intent, and I don't really get the intent here. There are 7 levels. I really don't think that taking checkpoints out of the system would, at least in my insane case, in me, because I was 13 and you couldn't tell me to do nothing like Kanye West, is you can't tell me that I can't beat you because I'm going to do it. So, I don't think that taking out the checkpoints encourages repeat play, because what is usually going to encourage in most edge cases is I am not going to play this nonsensical bullshit because it's unfair. Because here comes the other half of that problem. Again, looking at your title screen, this is a video game that came out in the year 1991. So, still don't quite know how to work the Super Nintendo, to work all this magic and do all that super cool shit that everyone's going to do in the next couple of years. This game is plagued with slowdown. Now, because we are talking about a shmup here, we can sit up here and think about, even though outside of context, because those games would come later, when it comes to like cave and rising shooters, where in instances slowdown is welcome, and in some cases, if you really look at like high level expert play of cave and rising shooters like that, where slowdown is purposely activated and managed by a high level player. In Super R-Type, it is very possible to manipulate the slowdown to a degree, depending on what it is that you do, because that would come with lots of repetitive play. And I don't think when I finally conquered Pro Mode in the one long run that took about 9 hours, because yes, I sat here and played Super R-Type for 9 hours because that's how you have to beat the video game, is I don't remember much about manipulating slowdown. It was me repeatedly dying over and over and over again till I understand that everything works the same every single time, and your job is to figure out the pattern. It's like a puzzle. As an old man who sits in his rocking chair and stares at the clouds all day, I can look at this game because I can look at everything in the world at a high level, because that I am the best at what I do, and understand that again. Someone trying to pick up and play this game, not say a speed run or something like that, will be able to look at this game, learn to understand its intricacies, and learn to manipulate slowdown in a way that would make the game play the same way every time. That's possible. You could look at TASs, and I'm like, what I should have done, and because I've watched TASs of Super R-Type just for shits and giggles, but never to look at like the high level possibilities of what a person to look at what something beyond a natural human being's actual play would look like. I would assume that high level play of someone beyond human would understand and know the intricacies and be able to see what's happening before it's happening. So, again, that's a 1.5 problem with this game. No checkpoints and the slowdown that can either help or harm. Because there are instances where the game jumps back and forth between slow as fuck and normal, and whatever normal speed, depending on how many speed up items you pick up. So, it's weird like that. So, know that if you're going to look at this game and play this game, is that know that's what you're getting into. Even for all its faults, and even for those 1.5 issues that I have with the game is still amazing. However, there's not a but, so I'm not contradicting like the last 7 minutes of me talking about it. Is, for all intents and purposes, and I need the internet to listen to me, this may be a game that is heavily inspired. The words, let's underline them. Heavily inspired, because 4 levels from R-Type 2 are in this game, and there are 3 new levels with stuff inspired by R-Type 1. Like a lot of what R-Type 2 was heavily inspired by R-Type 1. You should play them side by side, but we're going to talk about that. I'm jumping ahead. But it's heavily implied, written in reviews and things like that, that Super R-Type may be some version of R-Type 2, and it's not. Because in this classroom, and this is important, and I need you to listen, once I got to a point to understand how R-Type 2 works in compared to Super R-Type, they're not the same game at all. They are two different video. As far as I'm concerned, they are two different video games. And I could understand that because you could look at this and it's a technical port of the arcade game. It would be the example of looking at Turtles in Time, the arcade game, and saying it's the exact same as the Super Nintendo version, when you know that's not true. It's like the Super Nintendo version adds enough of kick-ass stuff, which makes it its own thing. Super R-Type is a lot like that, where the thing that it's ported from is heavily inspired by it, but what it adds to the flavor and the flow and the motion of how this game works, in my view, makes it a whole different game. It makes it a branch versus an actual straight port of the video game. And that's how I always like to look at it. I look at R-Type 2 as a separate thing from Super R-Type. So, if you read a review and it says something about R-Type 2, ignore it. Super R-Type, as far as I'm concerned, should always be treated as its own little special little rose, and not in comparison to R-Type 2. But here's the thing about R-Type 2, because I need to say this, and this is the perfect time to say this, because I don't know when I will get another chance to do so. Remember, we talked about at the top about the games being delisted and IRAM this and whatever. If you want to play R-Type 2 and you want an accurate representation of what R-Type 2 is, you can only find that legally at this juncture in one place. That being R-Type for the PS1. That game, along with R-Type Delta, used to be available on the PSN. But, IRAM fell apart and it doesn't exist now. So your only other legal option is to go find an R-Type 1 and an R-Type 2 board, dump the ROMs, and play it in MAME. Because if you want to buy a copy of R-Types at this point, you can, but it's going to cost you about $50 on eBay. You might be able to get a deal or see it somewhere, because I bought R-Types for like $15 years ago. When I used to hit the mall every weekend, when I start working at the arcade out at the mall, I was able to snag copies of R-Types and R-Type Delta. I think I got R-Type Delta for about $20, and I think I got R-Type for like $15, and I still had those games. I don't pull them out because years ago, I pulled them out once, dumped the ISO, and turned it into a PSP thing, because that's what everybody turned into, a PSP e-boot. Ain't touched the video game since. I bought them on PS3 but never played them, because the only PS1 backwards compatibility things that I play on a PS3 are, what games is that? Bloody Roar 2, because I like to play the game with an arcade stick, and what is that game? Dominated Mind. So yeah, you should go buy Dominated Mind on PS1. You can only get that in Japan now. It's an excellent port. It's an excellent port of Real Bout Special, and I'm glad I just randomly brought up Real Bout Special, because Real Bout Special. But anyway, to make my point, it's the only way you can play an accurate version of R-Type and R-Type 2, because I'm just gonna bring them all in together, is to buy a copy of R-Types on eBay or wherever you shop, or dump the ROMs and then play them in MAME. Super R-Type is not R-Type 2. They don't equal each other. So if you come into this game looking for an equal experience, it's not that. And if you want to play R-Type 2, I told you the only sensible way how. There is, however, an unsensible way to play R-Type 2, and you could get $10 and go buy R-Type Dimensions on PS3. Back to the board, though. R-Type Dimensions on PS3. You would say, yo, Trip, why wouldn't you go buy the 360 version? because the PS3 version adds a lot more stuff, but it's still a bad port of 2 arcade games. Because the game, when you press what? Because I remember on the 360, I think that's the Y button, so it will be triangle on the PS3. It looked real pretty, a lot sexy, but you missed the point, Tozai. You missed the point of the whole port thing, because when the people on Shmups can sit up here and break down everything that's wrong with your inaccurate port, that's a problem. That's a problem. That is a problem. And I didn't know, until a little bit later after I bought the 360 version of R-Type Dimensions, because it was at that point that I started to pick up a curiosity for R-Types, and it was for R-Type and R-Type 2, and then I got in and started playing Leo and playing on Police Gallop, and then I would love to talk to you about R-Type Final, because that game is an R-Type fan's dream. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I started to see what they were talking about, and then I would go in MAME and go play R-Type and R-Type 2, and I would see the differences for myself, and I'm like, this is upsetting and sad. As a fan, because I don't want to call myself a casual fan of R-Type, because I love the series, but I don't go as hardcore as people go hardcore, but I can understand enough about wanting an arcade perfect experience, because you're talking to somebody who deals in fighting games, is I can understand that a port needs to be what it is, and if it's not, then it's trash. That's why I will never play the PS1 port of Cyberbots, because it sucks. Not that Cyberbots the game sucks, but the port to the PS1 is bad, and you should play the Saturn version. And if you don't play the Saturn version, you're a bad person, and you should feel bad. I'm looking at my limited edition copy of Cyberbots right now. I'm staring at it. It has a pop-up of Cyber Akuma. There's actually it's called the Z100 Goki or something like that. But you would know that because I made a video about it years ago, and I just love hearing myself talk. But anyway, understanding that R-Type Dimensions, for everything that it does, is a bad port of 2 video games, that makes me sad. And even because the point that I'm trying to make is, if you want to play R-Type and R-Type 2 legally, that is your only digital option right now, because all of those games are gone. And it's a shame that R-Type Dimensions isn't better, because it would have been easy for me to say that, yeah, you could go buy R-Types if you want, but R-Type Dimensions on PS3 is $9.99, and you can get that. If you want to experience R-Type and you want to do it on cheap, wait for the next time R-Type Dimension goes on sale on the PS3, not the 360. Avoid that version like the Plague or AIDS or whatever it is you kids avoid in 2016. Don't buy the 360 version. If you are sitting up here and have an itch for R-Type and R-Type 2 and you have no damn choice at all, you can play R-Type Dimensions on the PS3 because it adds, like, I think it has a slowdown button. You can actually configure your buttons and do things like that, because you couldn't play R-Type Dimensions on PS3 with the setup it had on an arcade stick and things like that if you wanted that real feel. I just want y'all to know that if you want to play R-Type and R-Type 2 in a way that I would feel good as your teacher telling you to do, you go buy R-Types on PS1. That's what you do. If what you have to do is ultimately download ROMs and play them in MAME, I don't care. But those are great shmups and you should experience them. But I want to make sure that you know everything you need to know. Because again, getting back to the point that I deviated from in the first place. Super R-Type, it's not R-Type 2. It's not. It's a little bit of R-Type 2. No, it's a lot of R-Type 2, because 4 to 7 stages are from R-Type 2. And a little bit of that new stuff and a little bit of R-Type 1 just jizzed in there somewhere and stirred around in the great big brew. It tastes really good. I love this game. I do. But now, it's time to get to the reason why Super R-Type changed my life. This soundtrack is the first video game soundtrack I ever truly appreciated. Because I'll say this, I may have gotten to this point at some point, but it was this soundtrack that I learned to appreciate what great video game music sounds like. Because me and Jay have talked about Yuzo Koshiro and how amazing he is at being one of the best ever at what he does. One thing that I look back on when I look at the Street Fighter EX games that I kick myself in the ass when I don't mention, but I am now. One of the other guys on that Mount Rushmore of video game music is one Shinji Hosoe. Shinji Hosoe is a monster. Monster. Dude been in the game 30 plus years. Every time he get on a track, it kick ass. That's live, and I'm letting you know that I want to take this chance because I'm talking about the game that gave me life for music. Is that I want to talk about people and groups like, you can talk about SoundSweep, the people that he's involved with. We can talk about we can talk about Zunitada and all the work they've done for all the title games forever. We could talk about Mambu Nakaki. We could talk about these people. And there's going to be a video for that, but I just wanted to say those names because it wasn't until a lot later I discovered all of them. But for a long time, all I knew was I appreciated this soundtrack. And in that same vein, when I had my Super Nintendo, the Super Nintendo versions of the Street Fighter 2 music. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something live though. When I got the hand-me-down from Woo, and I got the Super Nintendo or whatever, I went into the front room and hooked the Super Nintendo to the stereo that the boss had in the front. And I had a blank tape. And I'm talking about an actual cassette tape back in the 90s. You know what I did? Went to the sound test and I played the music and I recorded it. And I would just listen to it while I was like reading Nintendo Power and, you know, doing stuff. I would just sit on the front with my little with my little dollar store tape player, and I would listen to this soundtrack and Street Fighter 2 soundtrack. It was a little Mario All-Stars in there, because, you know, that's like the first music I appreciated, but didn't know I was appreciating because I love I love that. But it was this soundtrack because I'm like, from the start, when you press the start button and R9 to the front starts playing, whoo, that gets you in the mood to kill some stuff, because it's like, yo, that's getting you ready. That's getting you ready for the business. And then after the R9 blast off, and Solo Sortie starts playing. I will say this. There's a top 10. Solo Sortie is in that top 10. Greatest video game tracks of all time. Solo Sortie is in there somewhere. But then you followed it up with Return of the Creature, that when you make it to the end, Return of the Creature start playing. That's the boss music. You beat that boss, you blast off, then Counterattack 91 start playing, and that song go down. One of my other top 20 tracks of all time is As Wet as a Fish. That was the song, along with Solo Sortie, that made me fall in love with the soundtrack when I was that young. It's like I used to sit up here and I would play it. I would play it for you, but I don't know how YouTube would feel about that. But we'll get around to that. But anyway, As Wet as a Fish. Ooh, that song is so beautiful. I've heard so many beautiful remixes on YouTube over the years of As Wet as a Fish, because that song is something special. A Submerging Titan, Stage 4. That music go dumb. Dream of a Labyrinth go dumb. Yo, I love some R-Dance. However, when you have fought all the Baido and got all the way to where the Baido are at Stage 7, the national anthem of the Baido Empire starts playing. And I'm like, yo, allow me to be real for a second. Allow me to be real with y'all, internet. There are 3 video game songs I would walk out to as a professional wrestler. One of those is the national anthem of the Baido Empire. And 2 of those are for KOF. And if you have been watching my KOF stuff, you've heard one. You won't hear the other one for a couple of video games now. But maybe when we get to that, we'll talk about, well, you know what? Since we have played the game where that song is from, number 2 on that list, well, it's not number 2 because, you know, it's a juggling list. It's R&D Himukai. That's the thing that plays when Mature comes out and welcomes the team to the Sky Noah. I would walk out as a wrestler to that. That song goes stupid. I like listen to that like when I'm trying to get hyped for something, like when I get ready to like write the cool or whatever, and I'm trying to get hyped, I will put that on. I will put on the National Empire to buy it on Empire. But that's how much video game music means to me. And this soundtrack has changed my life, and I just wanted the opportunity to say that. I don't know if I would be the man that you love, fear, and respect without this video game soundtrack. And I need the world to know this. This soundtrack goes that dumb that at 7 years old, that I learned to appreciate video game music because of this video game. And I feel better now that I've said it. I would urge you to play Super R-Type however you can, but if you can listen to the soundtrack, as your teacher, I'm satisfied with that. Because this soundtrack is fucking amazing. It is that good. And it's a shame that I don't know like who exactly composed the tracks. And I wish I did. But whoever you are, whoever it is that you are, the people that have made it a reason for me to know every stage music and the boss music from 1 through 7, because I can tell you, and I just did off the top of my head, thank you for creating this soundtrack because it has changed my life. That's what Super R-Type has done for me. This was the video game that gave me the appreciation for the music that makes the experiences that we create with video games. So thank you, Super R-Type. Thank you. Now, I feel better. I feel so good right now. So good in a way that you would not believe. Believe you me. I feel good. Now you know that. So you know what happens now? Don't be surprised when there's a video of me quarter feeding my way through S-Braid, because that's going to happen. The world, the universe, the known dimensions will be welcome to Violent City when I fucking play All Police Batrider, because that game is my shit. I want to play some Parodius. I want to play some Gradius 5, some Thunder Force. I want to play those games. But now that you know that I love this soundtrack the way that I do, we can do that now. I want to play some Kessui, some DDP, some Dagon Fever Line, yo, some Battle Gun. I want this. I want to play some Giga Wing. I want to play those games. But now that you know that it was a shmup that gave me my love for video game soundtracks, we can do that now. You want to play some Gunbird? Some Shishiro Shinigami? We can play those now because Super R-Type changed my life. Salamander 2 Hella Short. We gonna play that. Want to play some ZX? Sure, we gonna do that shit too. We going dumb. I get to finally play Moochie Moochie Pork because pig girls, tasty. We get to do that now. I'm happy. The world knows, the universe, the known dimensions knows, this is the video game soundtrack that changed me, that made me the man you love, fear, and respect. So, I'm going to play some S-Braid, and you're going to like it. I'm going to play S-Braid. I'm going to quarter feed through it. You're going to like it. We're going to have some fun. Fun. Oh, baby. I want to play some 1943. We can do that now. We can play 1943 Kai because I feel like it. Want to play some Bogus? Want to play some Xevious? We can do that. Hell, technically, we could play Galaga, but we're saving that for something else. Like I said, that Absolute Truth video gave me new life. This review has given me something that I didn't have before. That now that I have fulfilled my promise to me, that you now know what Super R-Type has done for me, that I can play those games. Oh, and we're we're gonna play some games, and we're gonna have some fun. So, if I didn't name your favorite shmup, Garega. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna play that too. I said Basket Gun. I screamed that really loud. Of course, we're gonna play some S-Bray. We're gonna play some. We gonna play some Death Smiles. Set some Castle. Some Under the Feet. We can do that. You know what I'm saying? We can play some Makai Katana. I like that game. It's really cool. Some Bullet Soul. We can do that. I got that on 360, but can't play it because I don't own a system that can. But we're gonna do these things, and we're gonna have a damn good time. I'm like, full disclosure, because this is my classroom. Remember, I did review Greatest Rebirth for the Opus for the Rebirth series, and it's been a while. I'm like, actually, because I've been playing the Wii, I actually played Contra Rebirth a couple of days ago. Still good. I have M2. You are forgiven for no Battle of the Holy in Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth. You're forgiven now. You gave me 3D Gunstar Heroes. I forgive you. You should play Greatest Rebirth. Even for an amazing remake of Nemesis on the Game Boy, it's an amazing game. And you should play it. That game is the bomb. I love it. I love it. But yo. Whew. That felt good. Y'all feel good, class? I feel good as fuck right now. We are going to play some smups and have a good time. We might just play some Life Force. We might just play some Life Force because I want to do that. Like, we could play S-Braid and On Police Bat Rider now. Battle Garega, here we come. Yo, Kingdom Grand Prix. Ooh, it's gonna get fun. Area 88, we can do that. We can do whatever you like. Well, whatever I like. This is my channel. We do whatever I like. Please, y'all don't sue me. But yo, before we get out of here, I want to do this because it's going to be a while because we're going to come back to Super R-Type and I've already figured out how we're going to do that. But there's something I quickly want to show off really quickly. R9 to the front. Holy shit, that song go dumb. Oh, that's all sortie. Oh, and if you hold R, A, and select, you can skip through stages. Know that you can do this, but you can't see that you end in that way, but let me see. Hold up. See, that's that slowdown and stuff. And I'll probably die, but here's a bit of a wet as a fish. I love this song. This song goes stupid. Oh, and okay. Oh, there's a wall, and I died because trying to dodge fish. But you get it. I love this game. For all its faults. But that's the thing with me, man. I love things for everything right and wrong with it. Because if you can't love somebody's faults, then what can you love? But that's what love is, man. You love people and love the things that we love for everything it is right and wrong. And this game does a lot of right and a lot of wrong, but this game has been a part of my life since 1991, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So again, thank you, Super R-Type. Thank you for being the magnificent whatever the fuck you are. Thank you for being that, alright? Thank you. I feel good. I feel really good, man. We've been sitting here for 40 minutes talking about Super R-Type. Who else doing this? But yeah, it's gonna be this, more shmups, all this old type of stuff. So, you know, S-Braid and Bat Rider is going down. Because I could talk about S-Braid because that was the first K shooter I ever played. And it's a shame that the licenses rights are tied up with Atlas and stuff. And, you know, the less we talk about Atlas, because, yeah, Persona 5 my ass. Why can't a player get that new Power Instinct on something? That game been out forever. Game been out since 2009. Had a revision in 2013. Player can't get no love. But, you know, some more shit. Megami Tensei, hooray! Hopefully, man, K can work that out, man, because I would love for more people to play S-Ray. That's my shit. And Bat Rider, I learned about Aiden's past trying to look for Bloody Roar stuff on the internet. And I finally got a chance to play Bat Rider, and I fell in love with that game. And then in that, I learned to work my way backwards through the rest of Ryzen's back catalog when it comes to shmups. Those games are amazing. Those games are amazing. So we're gonna play a lot. We're gonna do a lot more of that. So that's it, and that is all. Thank you again, Super R-Type, for being the magnificent whatever it is that you are. Know that I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for setting me free. And now that the internet knows is that sky's the limit, baby. I'm glad you guys were able to join me on this, whatever the fuck it was. But again, I love this video game, something fierce, and it's a shame because of whatever happened with Iron that you don't have easy access to this game. But yo, if you want to play them, at this point as your teacher, man, hey, all bets off. Do whatever it is you got to do, but experience this wonderful soundtrack. The game, for better or worse, is a great game. If you want to play R-Type 1 and R-Type 2, go buy a copy of R-Types on eBay or something. You can play R-Type and R-Type 2 the way they were meant to be played. And if you want a little bit less but something accessible, you have R-Type Dimensions on PS3. You can play some R-Type Delta, R-Type 3, and On-Police Gallop. You only can, you know, get those on emulator, so do whatever you got to do with that. And R-Type Final, an R-Type fan's dream for everything good or bad with that game. That game is an amazing swan song to the series. And the less we talk about R-Type Command, the better. What kind of game has the subtitle Bitter Chocolate or whatever the hell it's called? It's weird. Or it's like R-Type Command 2 Bitter Chocolate or something. Like Operation Bitter Chocolate or something. I don't know. What kind of name is that? Why would you want bitter chocolate? I don't know. I do not know. But that is it. That is all. This is Super R-Type for the Super Nintendo. Happy 25th anniversary, R-Type. You can go rent a car on September 1st. Be responsible. More stuff coming. You know, we always got the work cooking up over at Team GRF. We always got what you need. So with that, class is dismissed. It's lunchtime. Go get out there. Go get some sun. Go eat your banana. Go out there and play. When we come back, man, we got the rest of this class. So with that, I'm out of here. I am, of course, the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And, of course, this is your favorite YouTube show. That show that we always lovingly call around here, Diary of a Game Whore. And with that, I'll holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.